Welcome to Battletech. This is Battletech Oath of Endosteel, Season 2, Episode 1, 3029, Part 10, which one of the longest years, and it's still not 3029 yet. It is the morning of December the 27th, as we are watching a Lancelot and a series of armor personnel, carriers, and transports approaching. We see that there's a nearby holovid player, and on it we see James Jives. He's doing like a news report. It's one of those "this is why we fight" things. We get several images. The first is in the pale moonlight with one leg up on burning wreckage, the smolder illuminating his face, a mysterious Lachlan McDougal. You can't see that he has a broken nose in this particular one. Maybe he makeup edited it out. Maybe it was just the darkness, but Lachlan looks grim. We get a few seconds of Anko hugging her employees in the mech bay. Jasper looking very regal, walking with a Comstar acolyte through the military camp, making sure that people get water bottles and food. And then we get the Jives voiceover saying, "This is why we fight, and these are who we're fighting for. Our allies and the Federated Sons risk their lives to save a citizen of an allied nation like myself above and beyond the call of duty. The Draconis Combine wants to treat Donegal Broadcasting Corporation as a media wing of the government because of their state's total control over the media. But we Lyrans yearn for freedom of the press as well as any Davian. It is these lopsided values that drive this war, a dirty war, a war without clear end. Victories come and go for the Alliance across every border, but planets like Whittington suffer for those successes. What is the Combine looking to achieve here? Is it as simple as a vanity play by a noble? Is there a strategic, political, or military objective? The history of today will be written in the calmer days of tomorrow. So for now, we can only wait and hope, and place those hopes and our hearts in the successes of the men and women who fight for us." And it's the three of you with Sergeant Sharp standing at a sand table looking at the strategic objective as it goes out. But then nearby, there's like a disruptively loud boat horn noise. And we hear, "Jock Swift here. Welcome to the Swift Boat Holocast. Today, we're going to talk about my recent experiences. You know, I was hanging out with friend of the show, Anko Khan. That's Anko Sapaku to any of you who don't know. Recently got married in the last 24 hours. Friend of the show, just a reminder. Big fan of the Amaris Empire, Pilots of Dragoon. You know, Anko's actions in the most recent battle reminded me a lot of the Rimworld's Republic Lieutenant General Jonathan Stonewall. Now, Stonewall, of course, would later go on to be accused of the Ridgewall Killer, notoriously for killing 14 women, and would evade any punishment for those actions by entering into service at Comstar and disappearing from history entirely. At the time, none of his compatriots knew about his foul and murderous ways. However, Jonathan Stonewall held the line, and held the line well, at the Battle of Concord, Lexington, Neolism. Now, let's go over about exactly who our sponsors for today's show are before we hop into a historical comparison between this battle and Anko Khan's actions. So, Eddie, I understand that you have some sort of tech trait, right? You've got... you're muted.
Empathy.
Tech empathy. And do you also have that, Lachlan?
Yes, I do have tech empathy as well.
All right, so Jasper doesn't notice this, but the two of you notice that climbing out of the... So the Lancelot that is arriving right now is not the SDLF era Lancelot that you picked up off of the AI Amaris warship. It is... Everything on it has been replaced probably a dozen times Ship of Theseus style. Even the weaponry on it no longer matches. Like the lasers on it are not what the original laser manufacturer would be, since they've all gone out of business or been destroyed. The armor plating The paint job looks good, right? But the armor plating clearly comes from at least 2 different, maybe even 3 manufacturers, and doesn't all line up so well. Like, there's a very clear welding job. This is an old machine. And it has the personal heraldry of the Lake Rheincolt line, which of course belongs only to one person, because there's only one Lake Rheincolt left. Climbing out of the cockpit almost immediately as soon as the mech stops is Sir Lake Rheincolt. And the reason why I need to know if you guys have tech empathy or not is the 2 of you notice that not only does he not have a cooling vest, he does not have a neuro helmet on, which means he probably was not piloting this mech, but was merely a passenger in the mech.
Rumble seat.
Remind me, AP, that's also because he has like some version of golden wheat syndrome, right?
Yes, he has that, right? He has the genetic disorder that pops up on this planet.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he makes his way down and starts heading towards all of you.
Yeah, Lachlan will definitely go to greet him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Anko's a little bit sheepish because the last time they saw, not sheepish, but like hanging back, kind of standing behind the others. Because the last time I think they had a little bit of altercation, so she would be a little bit cautious of that.
Well, it's only been 48 hours since you were all attending a Christmas party together when the invasion happened slightly after midnight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long 48 hours.
It's been a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AP said that this was the longest year that we've played. Forget that. I'm pretty sure this is the longest, like, 3 days we've played.
Yeah, it's true. Previously, we definitely time jumped a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, if unless Jasper goes to say something first, I guess Lachlan will just kind of like go to clasp his hand and he'll say, Sir Erwin, how goes things on your end?
Okay, yeah, he says, well, my planet is being invaded. Do you have the sword with you?
I do.
Good. We should speak privately before I talk to the 3 of you together. So he looks for like a nearby military tent and just kind of stands there until all the privates and corporals file out of it. He's always been less of a statesman and more of a military man. And you get a very clear indication that he has a reputation here as like someone very hard. Yeah. Because when they notice him, they leave immediately. Yes, you're raising a finger.
Yeah, I figured I'd do that rather than trying to interrupt. I'm trying to be smarter about all that. I just wanted to say, like, as they walk off, I think Anko takes a moment to talk to her people, and like I think whispers to probably someone that she can trust and has like skills to drive out to the Heroican lands. Because I think after the inquiry, she gets a little bit antsy. And so I don't know how this would work necessarily, AP, but if like one of the APCs or like one of the hover vehicles, just to be like, go and check up on that.
You loaned all of your military vehicles to the military.
I said we would talk about that. I didn't say it was like just all or nothing.
The military also made a decision that they would borrow your vehicles and is somewhat less talking about and more
they're trying to repossess the vehicles that I paid for.
I believe they drafted the vehicles with your permission as far as they remember.
I mean, I think the way that it played out, maybe that's what it sounded like, but I think also Jasper said let's not promise things we can't necessarily offer. You
definitely said you were letting them use these vehicles because Sharp made sure to get the vehicles out of the hangar.
Yeah, no, I like my thought that was that we had those vehicles now at our disposal versus
yes, the military has them at their disposal.
Yes, my people as well, though.
No.
Sorry, I'm not trying to distract.
That may be
from
what
we're
you
gonna-
believe, but that is not what the people who are currently in the vehicles believe, and they are not under your command.
Okay, so what
Would
you're
you
saying
like?
is
I mean, you could certainly try to negotiate with them, but you lent those vehicles to the local military, and they will continue to borrow them for as long as they see fit.
I see. Okay, sure.
I mean, Jasper can certainly order them to get out of the vehicles.
I mean, my entire mission here is to have some of my people go and check up on the Dragoon and the Atlas,
Okay.
and make sure that they secure.
You
at
don't
least
need an
some
APC to
of-
do that. Of course, it would certainly help, but you could send a car to do that just as well as anything else.
Right. I figured the APC would be safer for them since it's in the
I
middle of the-
agree that is true.
Yeah.
You will need to speak to someone with authority over the military to make that happen.
All right, then I guess knowing all of this, because I think that wasn't clear to me as a player, so apologies. But knowing all this, I think as they go and have their conversation, I would lean into Jasper and say, after that deal, I'm worried to have the Dragoon be in the open without any kind of someone watching over it. Could we maybe have someone go looking on it? This is to Jasper.
No, our resources are spread super thin.
I know.
Is it that important?
I am worried that someone will try to go and acquire it regardless. If Comstar knows of it, then someone else also knows about it.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know how valuable that mech is for you, but we are stretched too thin to worry about whether or not someone gets rich off of some piece of field equipment.
Yeah, I think you see like
I don't know.
attention
Yeah,
in Anko.
and- yeah, and Jasper says everything he says without saying he's sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish it was different. Without acknowledging that he has the power to actually make it happen, but he's not going to.
Yeah,
I wish it was different. I wish there was something I could do, like authorize this power. No, but no, we can't spare it.
Very well.
AP, can we spare it?
Can you spare a APC or something? You have two different
Just to go
APCs.
Right. Just to go secure the Haruka.
I assume not without costing us somewhere else.
Well,
I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. I assumed based on
the APCs are currently
battle's
being
going.
employed to move large rocks at the airfield. Because you remember, they're clearing the airfield out, and then they're going to try to rebuild it to get the aircraft, the Stuka, out.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's not being employed as a military vehicle right now. It's essentially being used as a bulldozer.
Yeah. Cool. So like, yeah, I rubbed the bridge of my nose and I'm like, wait, Anko, hold on. There might be a way. We might be able to retool an APC from the cleanup efforts on the airfield. Maybe. It might slow down efforts of getting that Stuka online.
Well, we still need a pilot for that anyway, but I understand.
This is more important than that.
I feel like it is important that we secure at least the Atlas and the Dragoon in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, they're not coming after the Atlas.
It's still there, but I understand. I my primary concern is the Dragoon, but it is priceless.
I can tell it means a lot to you.
It is. It's the last thing that Kura left to my family.
I'll put a hand on your shoulder, may I?
Yeah.
Anko, if it means a lot to you, it means a lot to me.
I think she returns the hand on the shoulder. And thank you, Jasper. I know these last 48 hours have not been easy, especially with all the tension between our group.
Well, we were bound by law and blood. Your family and mine. We will do right by it.
I thank you for the honor you give me.
All right. You got me. You convinced me. We're going to do it. I wanted to do it, but I thought it was a good.
No, I
wanted to be reticent about it. So let's do it.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for Jasper.
Let's rock and roll. Or maybe we should probably wait to see what Reinhold and
That's true.
Lachlan say.
But I wanted to get that before that scene because I felt like it was important. All right.
Okay. So you get pulled into this tent for a meeting, and he doesn't sit down anywhere. He just kind of remains at something passing like attention, and says, "There are things you need to know about the sword, Baron McDougal. There is circuitry built into the hilt that can unlock any door in the manor, and it can also be used to decrypt and activate the local defense network in case of emergency."
You're just telling me this now?
I mentioned to you that the importance of the sword was the life of Whittington when I bestowed it upon you.
You don't see how I would have taken that to be a metaphor in that moment.
It is a metaphor, but it is also quite literal.
Right, so it's
Understand the
it's
trust
fine.
that I have placed with you.
Yes, you gave me the skeleton key to the entire planet without telling me. That I appreciate the trust. I'm just a little bit shocked. It's been a long couple of days.
Well, unfortunately, the planetary defense network is completely useless now. The last of the satellites has been taken out. The spaceport's guns have fired what they will fire. And I don't assume you are going to be breaking into the Lake Manor in order to steal things.
I wasn't planning on it, no.
Didn't think you would be. So, as it comes down to it, do not allow the sword to fall into enemy hands under any cost. I will be handling the political side of this battle and making sure that we can gather allies. I may have tasks for you, but unless you object, I would like to place you at the head of our military contingent among the nobility here. I know that Sebastian is attempting to do the same on the northern front, but given the accusations you've made towards that man, I am not particularly inclined to allow him to run this planet's defenses for the time being, until we can determine the truth of his status.
I would absolutely agree. I can't say that I believe that Bassett is on the side of the Combine any more than any of us are, but that doesn't make me want to trust him with power that he doesn't already have either. He'll use any opportunity he can get, even if he twists it in his mind to make it for the best of Whittington.
Your thoughts and mine are very similar, although I do not share such a negative view as you have. I am willing to wait until I see more evidence.
Fair enough.
His father was a good man.
I appreciate your confidence, Sir Owen, both in me and in the nobility of Whittington. I'll make sure that I take into account Jasper Hiroka's advice, as he's a far more accomplished military officer than I will ever be.
It is up to you to assemble your advisors.
I hope you won't be a stranger to that yourself, Sir Erwin. We could use your help, especially when it comes to your military mind.
I am not certain what my role in the upcoming war will be, but I suppose I should reveal the next part of today's news. And he like gestures towards Anko and Jasper as if he expects you to go bring them in, right? Like he's like, all right, bring them in.
Yeah, I think Lachlan will go do that, but maybe there's like this moment where like Erwin's like, we get this like, what's taking so long moment, because Lachlan literally like first ran to his bags, wherever his like luggage is or whatever, gets the sword. It's just like, this thing is gonna be on my body for the foreseeable future, and goes and grabs the other two, and then brings them back to Sir Erwin.
I understand the three of you have engaged in an operation with the local military forces under Major Garcia to help out local news reporters.
Correct. We were assisting in relieving the efforts of captured VIPs.
That has already borne great fruit, and your thoughtfulness has undoubtedly rewarded our war efforts. You should know, however, that there has been a request for a ceasefire and prisoner exchange until the new year, and unless you have some very specific objection, I am inclined to grant it. And I would like to place the three of you in charge of the prisoner exchange, since you have several high-profile prisoners in your retinue. I understand you captured 2 Mechwarriors.
Indeed. In our previous battles, we were able to hold on to at least a couple of pilots.
You also seem to be gaining some renown among the Draconis Combine forces. Not only are they here to kill you personally, but you granted at least one of their Mechwarriors a reprieve from certain death falling from the sky. I can think of no one better to help lead the negotiations with Miss Takao.
Just a quick reminder, we know that person, right?
Yeah, Haru Takao Moritomo.
She's the one who
that hates
invited you. Yeah, she invited Lachlan to go to the Kerensky ball, and then burned down her estate and killed her aunt.
Yeah, totally. That's
Now she's leading the
course.
political wing of this invasion raid.
Cool.
And I don't think Anko knows her, so she would be like, oh, but she would know her, but not
You
in
would
the
know of
context
her, but you might not know her.
Yeah, not in the
personally.
context of what happened with Lachlan. Yeah.
Very well. The exchange will happen on New Year's Day, which gives you 5 days to prepare, I believe.
I see. There is certainly something that I wish to handle. And I think at this point, Anko leans forward and says, "We were approached by Comstar, a mysterious buyer looking to buy the Dragoon. Now, how they found out that we had such a vehicle.
You have not attempted to hide it in any way, and you've used it in several conflicts, including during a televised bout, I believe.
No, that was
you mentioned it to Jock Swift on camera when he was like, "Can we come visit your Dragoon for an Amaris war?"
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like,
That's true. That's true.
It's been heavily advertised to this.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think as a player,
I'm not
I keep
particularly
forgetting this
surprised.
Yeah.
I suppose what I'm more surprised is it took this long for someone to approach you. Certainly performing such a deal during the war would be unusual, but I hope you get a good price for it.
Well, I was hesitant, but I am reconsidering. I hope the buyer is still interested.
I'm certain you can contact Comstar. They run the communications, and they are a neutral third party. He says this okay, so it's difficult for me to be like, he sounds more flat than normal, but he does sound more fun. He's being slightly sarcastic when he says they're a third party neutral status.
Of course. They had offered, and I tell you this because I wish to seek your advice as someone who has been through much battle and led our forces previously. They offered a And if you could remind me what the
Cyclops 10 HQ and a Wolverine 6K painted in Combine colors.
Right. So I exposit this, and I know it could do us. It would benefit us greatly.
Perhaps
in some respects.
the Cyclops is too much mech for a planet like this. You could almost certainly resell it to a military unit with a regimental size for a great boon. The Wolverine 6K, it would be dishonorable to engage oneself and against the Ares Convention to clothe oneself in the color of the enemy.
I see. It is a fair point.
Yes,
to make.
that's right. He does have a stick up his butt. That's right, Eric.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I'm smiling because of another thing that Comstar is going to do in the future.
That's true. They will engage themselves in the colors of their enemies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I'm smirking because we've already seen people violate these rules like
so many times,
hours ago.
Yeah.
They're very much like guidelines.
Yeah. It's like the Pirates Code. Fair points. It is one of the original reasons I rejected the offer. It did not seem to fit with our current regiment and lance. However, it may have benefited the overall effort. I know there was other business, but I thought I would get your thoughts on it, as well. Right now it sits in the Hirokan lands, and I worry that it is compromised.
You left a working mech?
It is sealed and hidden, but
Who, in fact, I was going to bring this up to you as long as Anko and Jasper were all right with it. If we didn't have the manpower to recover either the Atlas or bring back the Dragoon when we got rid of that lance near the Hirokan Highlands, if we could get a couple of pilots out there, I feel like we can use every mech we could get at this point, though the Dragoon is practically in pieces.
we had a mech bay to repair it. It is still a functioning mech, though.
Well, there's a mech bay here, is there not?
It's true.
Not. If rearmoring the Dragoon is beyond us, but at the very least it could serve as a final bastion of defense. What is the other mech that has been left behind?
The Atlas of
An Atlas would... So he turns and he says, Zatamari?
Correct.
You left that behind. Interesting. I would not have thought. Very well. I believe what would be wisest would be to pull one of those APCs I've seen off the line, fill it with
My lord, if I may.
infantrymen. We'll find who has the best piloting scores among the infantrymen here and have them bring it back in weapons disabled mode as quickly as possible.
My lord, one thing. I left the Atlas behind for the tactical needs of the rescue of the VIPs.
I don't disagree with your
Perhaps.
decision. I just thought that you would be loath to let go such a totem of your wife. I understand you're quite taken with her.
Well,
I think Anko does smirk a bit.
If it was possible, I would like to go back to retrieve it. And I have a special mission in plan with Anko as well.
All right. I mean, he just looks to Lachlan and says, it's your 5 days.
Yeah, Lachlan will look to the other two and we'll shrug and say, like,
How fortuitous.
we have 5 days. It would be... Well, where's the prisoner? Did we get information on where this prisoner?
The prisoner
transfer's supposed
exchange
to
will be
happen?
taking place at the spaceport, and you'll be given.
It does.
You know,
since they're setting up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, since they're setting up here, it actually makes sense that we kind of do the retrieval and bring it here, and that way we have some mechs here that they can use. It's closer to the action.
So the prisoner exchange is taking place in the spaceport. Haru is claiming the the entire capital city, but she's setting the spaceport aside as a no conflict zone and will offer you a corridor of safe passage to and from the spaceport for the exchange.
Cool. Well, I guess then if you guys don't need Lachlan, he'll probably just go for the time being because he's got 5 days. He'd probably go back to his wife's estate and start drawing up plans and working on coordinating the war effort and making sure that his wife doesn't get murdered.
Well, the problem with that is that she's on the far side of enemy territory. Like, there's no clear path to them.
Got it.
It would be unwise for you to go alone as well amid a conflict. Oh, I mean, we do have a ceasefire, but yeah, I guess like travel time would be pretty far because
I mean, the ceasefire is not. It is an abuse of a ceasefire to rearm or reposition your forces during it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, even picking up the Atlas is a little questionable, but definitely going to the Menshikov estate is absolutely a violation of it.
Okay, so basically Lachlan's stuck here unless he wants to go with them.
Unless you don't give a shit and you want to go undercover.
Well, if he goes alone, is it even repositioning of forces?
Do you not consider a Mechwarrior a vital military asset?
Fair point, AP.
You're also, not only are you a Mechwarrior, you're also the political target. Killing you is the stated objective of this invasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha there, Chief.
All right, maybe actually Lachlan would probably ask Jasper about it because he knows that he's not that good at this.
So yes, just to be clear, while this conversation is taking place, Sir Reincolt is dismissing himself and seems to be moving as if he's got an aching in his joints out to where the Comstar forces are feeding his men and making sure everybody's got everything they need. Meanwhile, back in the tent, go.
Say to me.
Yeah, Lachlan will look at Jasper and Anko and say, if you both are heading to get mechs, well, frankly, I'd like to get back to the Menshikov estate if I could.
An idea occurs to me. You getting there may be difficult. However, as you may remember, many in my estate were skilled in getting to places they don't necessarily belong.
Yeah, you have ninjas. We know.
I could potentially send a few of my loyalists to look after the estate and communicate with us, as I still have, and she holds up her secure communicator, at least a somewhat clearer means of communicating securely.
Lachlan lets out a big old sigh and just goes, something's better than nothing. I'll give them a letter to give to my wife explaining the situation. Frankly, I need to have a conversation with her. It's been long overdue and it keeps getting delayed because of this goddamn war. But
War
it needs
gets
to
in the
happen.
way of a lot of things.
So I guess Lachlan will write a letter to give to Anko before they leave, and then he'll go probably start just working with whichever people in the militia are around and try to start getting his head around this war effort and start making plans and getting stuff where it needs to go.
Okay.
So I think the Hunchback that I was piloting is was that something you picked up, Sam? Right?
Yeah, that's the swayback that I paid for.
Cool. So that'll be stationed in the hangar, and I'll take the Grasshopper with me.
Do you guys have Morgan go with you?
If you'll allow it, yeah, that makes sense.
If she's down.
A lance of 3. So I think we approached Morgan, and Morgan, we could use your aid in retrieving the mechs we left behind.
Okay. I want to be really clear about what Morgan is doing. She is watching a special report by James Jives about her and her efforts during the war. And she's on a part where she's on the shoulder of her mech. The mech is like seated or kneeling on the ground, and she's on like the mech's shoulder, drinking a bottle of alcohol, backlit as a silhouette against the moon. And she's just like, the wind captured the my hair perfectly at this moment. Look at that. Look at that.
I like the idea that they like walk in and like catch her like rewinding. Like,
yes, she is. Yeah.
back.
She is. She's like, this is gonna be great for my popularity numbers. James is a wizard.
This is true. As like she says that as they walk in, maybe startling her.
All right, she turns. She's just like, what's up?
Well, Jasper and I are moving out to retrieve the mechs we left behind. We're bringing an APC. If maybe you'd want to pilot one of the mechs.
Yeah, she just looks around and says, I guess. I mean, I'm not rated to pilot a Dragoon or an Atlas. It's going to be a tough, headache-filled walk back.
I could lend you. Well, I could pilot the. I'm trying to think of, because I have only one of these helmets, the special ones.
I mean, whether you have the helmet or not, so like each mech has its own individual way of moving,
right. And
that's how the gyro works. Is it
right?
Your brain syncs with it and figures out how you believe it moves.
If you guys are just if you guys are going personally, you guys should just drive them back, pilot back.
Yeah. So my thinking was that I could leave the helmet in the grasshopper, and she could use that to help her with the grasshopper, and I just take a normal helmet to take the Dragoon, since I'm synced with it.
Okay. So where does
sense.
the grasshopper come in this?
Yeah, I'm confused too.
Wait, what?
No, you want her to be in the grasshopper and do what?
She would be like the aid, because I'm taking the grasshopper mostly as a means of protection.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So that's not a bad plan. However,
okay.
I just want to give you one word of warning. A hover APC has way less signature than the movement of a mech, because a mech is a lot of metal and it makes a lot of seismic activity, both of which set off all sorts of sensors.
So what you're suggesting is leave the mechs behind and just take the APC.
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you that you have to make a decision here, and that there could be outcomes based on bringing a mech. The issue with bringing a mech is that you could be detected, and you need a mech to defend against a mech.
Right.
It seems to me that the best bet is to try to just APC the both of you out there and then get the mechs back as quick as possible. But your call.
I think we're just having a conversation, maybe with Morgan, saying that we're going out there, and if she wanted to come along, then I think it's more of a question of like, are you stir crazy here? Do you want to help out?
Yeah. Did she want to hang out for 5 days?
She will pilot the hover APC.
Ooh,
nice.
I like that idea.
AP, do you need like any kind of like role from Lachlan to like see if he can start taking charge and like how things go with that, or are we just assuming
so
that
you're not sneaking to your wife's estate? You're instead going to take command here?
I'm going to take command here and send a letter with Anko's people, basically just like saying, a lot of basic, like, I'm safe, I hope you guys are okay, that kind of stuff. And then like basically just I need to talk to you as soon as you get a chance, like here's with instructions on how to use the communicator to contact Anko and get to me.
Okay. So you can try to send this letter through Comstar, but they will not. If you were just sending a letter to your wife, it's one thing. If you're sending a letter to a fellow military commander, they aren't going to accept that. So are you sending a handwritten letter? Is that what's happening?
He was thinking that I would send like Cypher, for instance, with the communicator.
All right.
to
Understood.
essentially make a connection
All
between the
right,
two
I'm
places.
gonna need a couple of rolls to make that happen. But
Okay.
let's concentrate on what you want to do. What do you want to have happen at this war camp? So, Major Maria Garcia has not arrived yet. When she arrives, she'll be in charge of all of the military forces in this camp. Because that's her prerogative. She actually technically outranks you as the planetary commanding officer. Until that happens, you are the highest ranking, noble officer here. What do you want to have them do? So far, their standing orders are simply to reconvene here. Jasper has retasked them to clear the airfield and rebuild it.
Yeah.
Do you want to maintain that? Give them any other orders? I mean, you've got 5 days worth of stuff. That's either a very long or a very short time in military terms.
Yeah, I don't want them to change any of their priorities. Like Lachlan he doesn't think he's better at this than the people doing it. But his main goals would be, one, to smooth over any tension between the nobility and the militia, because he did kind of start a little bit of that.
Happened, yeah.
And then to do that in any way, shape, or form. And then the other thing is even though Lachlan is not a great military leader, he's really, really good at logistics as they apply to business, and that's not so far away from the kind of logistics that you need for any type of thing. So he would want to make sure that everything is looking good in that aspect, and people are getting the supplies they need, stuff shipping at the right time,
ammunition, food, building supplies, that kind of thing. Okay. All right, I'd like you to make a leadership roll. Based on what you're asking for, it would be a 9.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not too bad at all.
Well, you're particularly skilled at this, and the things you're asking for aren't very difficult.
Sweet. All right, yeah, so I've got +6 here, so I just need to get a 3 or better.
Okay, well, I may have underestimated the difficulty, or you're just that good.
5 + 6 is an 11.
Not the best roll you've ever made, but yes.
It'll do.
Things in the war camp go slightly better than expected. Certainly not the best they've ever been, but the military...
Real quick, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, AP. If I spent Edge and got a higher result, would that change things? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and do that.
You could also get a lower result.
Yeah, that's also true.
Just
I'm going
remember
to just
the second
reroll
roll
the 2.
stands. All right.
Oh no! I still passed, but it's worse.
So what's amazing is you managed to knock yourself out of the 2 degrees of success you needed to pump a roll up.
Hilarious.
All right, so things in the camp go literally as well as could be expected. You don't get the extra bonus there, so I'm glad I didn't finish talking about it. You keep tensions simmering by keeping everybody working. And there's just enough food once the Comstar trucks leave, and there's just enough water and space to keep everybody from exploding.
Got it.
People aren't overflowing with ammunition, but the mechs are repaired, and the people have bullets in their rifles.
That's all we can hope for, AP. You know what? Maybe in the future, when Lachlan gets a little bit better at this, we can try again.
Do you want me to make a roll for sending an operative to Menchwarrior?
I'm going to need a leadership or a protocol roll. Well, protocol isn't for established by protocol. It's for noble protocol. So yes, it will need to be a leadership roll to see how well you've prepared your house for this.
Sure. Yeah. I
need to know the extent of what's happening. You are sending a person with a letter, and you want them to arrive in person. You don't expect them to return. You're just sending them there with a communicator.
It's positioning them so we have a line of communication with the Mechwarrior state.
Okay.
The letter hopefully will bypass any problems with them getting in, but we'll see how that goes with Bass.
I set the difficulty at 10.
All right, I've got a 5.
No fear.
On leadership.
0 fear.
That's exactly what you needed.
But you get exactly a 10. All right, we will hear from them on
Look how efficient you are rolling. Don't need any margin.
What you need.
No margin of success. Right there, in and out.
He will arrive on New Year's Day and be able to report back to you what's happening at the Mechwarrior estate.
Excellent.
So you will learn minutes before you go to the prisoner exchange.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
I mean, I
It'll
could
be fine. It'll be
reroll
fine.
with edge. I could
It'll be
reroll with
fine.
edge.
Look, Eddie, the laws of dramatic tension demand that it can only happen moments before we go to the prisoner exchange.
I will accept this. I will accept this. Oh my god.
Okay. Tell me about your mission. You are taking a single hover APC filled with Morgan and the two of you.
And some infantry, so like, you know, just in case something happens.
Which infantry are you bringing?
I can bring my personal people.
You don't have any personal infantry. They're all dead.
Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah, fair.
You have techs that you can bring. They are not infantry, but they have submachine guns and rifles and something approximating light body armor.
They can trip proximity mines. That's all that matters.
Yes, they can.
Wait, what? Wait, what do you mean?
You know how in D&D you would conjure like a monkey to go run across the hallway?
Cows.
That's not what my people are for. These are real people, Eric. How could you?
Better them than you.
I just get hugs. Wow.
Everyone knows you send a herd of cows ahead of you to trigger all the traps that require human weight.
Now I understand.
Oh, I forgot. We're doing D&D inflation. Where all of a sudden you can conjure huge ass animals instead of like tiny fucking bugs and shit.
You don't need to conjure them. You just
look. Back in my day, I had to walk
bring a herd of cows.
I had to walk uphill both ways for my spell components. All right,
The herd of cows I'm talking about is a classic Tomb of Annihilation strategy.
Welcome to AP and Eric going at it.
Yeah, mark that off on your bingo cards.
You know, it has been a really long time since I did Battletech bingo, and maybe we should bring it back for Endosteel.
If you're drinking through this episode, that
bingo
would be
steel.
Bingo steel.
Oh, the bingo steel.
Oh my
All
god.
right, well, maybe that'll be a special episode for a holiday.
Charity drive.
The charity is my Patreon.
But yeah, I would say, yeah. I guess like if Jasper wanted to bring a contingent of people to just help us secure the location when we get there, and to keep the APC.
Jasper does
secure,
not have a contingent of people. Jasper's people all abandoned him at the first sign of
asking
invasion.
the militia.
Sure.
If they, because he's an officer of the military.
Correct. I just want to make it clear that Jasper's people
Yes.
all abandoned him immediately.
I just really want to rub that in. Hold on a second. There's not enough salt on my hands that are going into that wound properly. So let me just
All of our houses
crunch,
are in-
audible crunching ASMR.
All of our houses are in shambles.
Yours
I
is
lost my
fine.
estate. I lost my ancestral home, AP.
Yeah, but you kept all your people alive, and they're going to appreciate that later.
Yeah, well, I lost
Yeah,
my
but your
home.
coup major is more important than your people.
Ooh.
Wow.
Symbols are more powerful than bodies.
But the other two definitely got hurt a little
Okay,
worse. That's fair.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, this is like I just watched Bridgerton the other day, so like I've got this whole perspective of nobility now.
Yeah, nobles are bad. Listen, there's a reason why we fucking murdered them all and we became fucking democracies. Okay, we're not good people.
I would like one of you to make a stealth roll.
I have a 5 in stealth.
Okay.
Be my
Does
guess.
Jasper have stealth?
Are you kidding me, dude?
I didn't think so.
I'm also going to have Morgan make a piloting roll.
Conspicuous is like my highest stat. Like, that's my highest skill. When I help, I give 2 dice on fucking conspicuous tests.
What's the
That's how high it is.
9.
the 9?
I can't even make those jokes anymore.
Exactly a 9
Exactly a
again.
9. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a roll on the edge just to see
Why?
if like
You passed.
Well, but you can
You're
reroll the
insulated from
1.
failure. You're fine.
But you can reroll the 1 with no risk.
Look, if you needed a 10, AP would have said you needed a 10. He said
Fair.
you needed a 9.
fair. I mean, I don't know. I just like to go extreme. I like to
the
push the
margins
edge,
are-
Eric.
The margins of success are a thing in this game, and if you,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get lower than a 1, so it's not a terrible time to do it.
Right. And it's stealth. So like if we get into combat, that'd be sucky. For you.
You know, that's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah. All
There's
right.
one thing we should do is we should maintain our controlled position on this. So let's
Right.
go.
All right.
So, hold on, what does this look like, right? Like, can we?
Yeah.
1 to a
Yep.
6. All right. So that's a 9 plus
The best.
5. That's a 14.
Set the scene, AP.
So, The hovercraft drive is about a day and a half out, a day and a half back. You take it low and slow. You operate as close to the ground on the hover APC as possible. Morgan cranks down all the sensors so that they're all on passive mode rather than active. And at some point when you get near the estate, you start getting pings from fairly fast moving craft that are making over river runs. And she just goes, Savannah Masters, I've seen this before. By crashing one into a lake.
For player context, what does that mean? What do you mean?
Savannah Masters are incredibly fast, light hovercraft. You've seen them recently. They were painted in Baird's Privateer's colors. They're nearby, and she's just like, I'm taking us in slow. We're gonna have to creep onto the estate. Looks like they're looking for us.
Nice. They got their spotlight cone of vision game, and we're doing near like. Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So,
okay.
Stealth scene.
What happens is, at one point, she stops and parks the vehicle because, like, everybody's tired and she doesn't want to keep going. And two of the Savannah Masters, like, they just, like, appear over a hill, and they're just about to see you, and they stop nearby, and the two crews get out and start having an ambient dialogue discussion in the background. While they share a cigarette. And one of the tank captains goes, "Oh, fuck, mate. We have to go to the fucking prisoner exchange. Can't wait to see how terrible that goes. Takao Moritomo's the worst employer we've ever had." And the other one goes, "Oh, shut your fucking trap. She pays good money. We're getting our money's worth out here, too. Very few people have died." And the first one goes, "Aye, true. Very few people have died. It's a long supply line home back to the Isle of Skye, and you know, for some reason, I'm just thinking that the Archon may not be particularly well disposed towards us given our actions with our ally." And he says, "Well, we'll see how closely allied they are. Hans Davian ain't shit, you know." The first one goes, "Aye, Hans Davian ain't shit." The second one goes, "Well, you know, I like the media out here is pretty good. You know, I like that James Jives fellow." And they're like, "Yeah, why don't we have ones like him back in the fucking lair in Commonwealth? All we've got is that Carl Rover motherfucker. Aye, what a fucking git." They keep talking for a while. And eventually you get some drops that there's no duplicity planned for the upcoming prisoner exchange, but Haru is handling it entirely via the mercenary she's hired outside of the Draconis Combine Muster Soldiery's command chain.
I think like we're currently like they're far enough away where if we're in the APC they won't hear us or anything.
I mean, they're probably like 40-50 feet away.
Okay,
probably
so
don't want to make a lot of noise. They leave at some point, right? Like they finish their cigarettes, they go back to exchanging a bottle between the two of the crews and then telling each other to fuck off before getting in their Savannah Masters and zooming away in the night again, cranking their sensors up to maximum, sailing right past your... It's probably like if someone was to flash a spotlight on it and look at it for a few seconds, you'd be like, "That's an APC hiding in a bunch of bushes." But you know, like a light goes over it really quick and you're just like, "Yeah, there's nothing there."
Like chrysanthemum, fucking tree, fucking Savannah Master, fucking tree. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's so good.
Oh man, the camouflage blends in just right where like they just pass over it. Yeah, so I think Anko would wait until they leave, and just look to Jasper and say, "Well, that was fortuitous."
See how long our luck can last. Let's get in and out. Let's go.
Yeah, you get in and out. You're back.
Oh, nice.
Wait, what?
You're back in the war camp after, you know.
Oh wow,
3 days.
So we gathered the mechs and made it back.
Yes.
Oh sweet.
You made your rolls. You got a
yeah,
little.
That's true. Yeah.
You got a little bit extra for getting 2 degrees of success.
So wait, like when you say we got out, like I have the Tamari.
Yes.
Out?
You're
Yeah.
back at the war camp.
Yep. We got the Dragoon
You're back
and
in
the
what
Tamari.
remains of the Seppuku ashes at a war table with Lachlan.
Okay, man.
All of
The
Seppuku.
rest of you are
just like-
playing Mechwarrior, and Lachlan is plaguing Dragon Age Inquisition. That's what's happening.
That's fair. But I know, but like I was just expecting a little bit of like I don't know, not like a soliloquy, but like, you know, I want us to have the scene of like going into my fucking hangar bay that's turned off and like fucking like there's like a shell like half exploded in the ceiling, you know, and it has to like go up the ramps into the Tamari, right?
Okay.
And like, you know, all like the fucking car, you know what I'm talking about? Like all, sorry for so much cursing, but just the like all the blankets over like whatever random supplies are around, right? Like everything's kind of like cobweb shut down, right? And I get into the mech. It's not like the Millennium Falcon being revealed again, but like, you know, I get in that cockpit and it just like, you know, I have the little picture of her in there and it's like fucking rub off the dust, right? And as I fucking start it up, you know, and you hear like the, you know,
we get the
fusion
shot.
engine online, systems nominal, you know, and like her voice, it's fucking great.
We get the shot from outside where it's just like all dark, and then like the Atlas's lights light up.
Oh yeah, the skull lights light up.
Yeah, the
dude.
classic Battletech
That's
shot.
good.
and then from like the silo of the granary or whatever, is that where we stashed it?
Yes,
right?
you stashed it in a granary.
Look, man.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do enough mech porn in our games, you know. Just for a second, just gloat over that dumb cheesy shit, and then move on.
Hey,
yeah,
listen, you
I
guys said
appreciate
you
it,
wanted
though.
to do some RP. You get a whole. Not only you get this whole episode of RP, the next episode's going to be all RP too.
Yeah.
There we go.
I appreciate it.
Um,
Yeah, so I think like as the Atlas comes on, you see that highlighted, and then the Dragoon like in the silo. You just how do we get it in there? Is there big doors that we could open?
Yes, they're literally barn doors to allow agromechs in and out.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so you just see like from the barn door, the doors open or are opened, and the Dragoon lights up, like piled with grain and other things, just slowly makes its way through, grain falling out of like these exposed actuators because the armor is just shredded in certain places. But yeah, and then it kind of like walks up next to the Atlas, standing there silhouetted with the moon behind it, 4 eyes of mechs glowing.
Lachlan, I would like you to make a tracking roll. We get a +1 for the military.
Is tracking? I wrote it down as sensors. Are sensors and tracking
Yes.
two different things?
Tracking is a sensors roll.
Okay. All right. So
Tracking is an int roll.
tracking. All right. So I spent XP when we were doing that last time. So now I have a 5 in tracking.
Oh,
What's
nice.
up?
That's good.
Nice.
Actually-
You need to hit a 12.
Oh, wow.
And you said I get a bonus from the military?
You get a +1 because the military is good at doing the military stuff.
Cool. So I will have a 6 total. So I need to get a 6 or better here. That is a
Nice.
9.
That'll do.
So 9 plus 5
Easy.
is a 14.
Okay, there is a set of mechs that are detected before Huntsman and Kitsune return. You are detecting mechs that they're not going for their position, they're going for the Hiroka estates. It is 4 mechs. They are in the medium to heavy category. They are not emitting any IFF. So they're not declaring themselves friend or foe to either Draconis Combine or to local forces.
Uh-oh.
Stealth mission.
It should be noted that this is extremely illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, doing this is a violation of literally any criminal code or military ethics.
Yeah.
I mean, who could
did
I
that?
report?
Yeah.
Who could I report that to, though? Yeah, man. Like, what to clarify? Because it doesn't. I'm not really sure that what options Lachlan has, right? Because he has no way to communicate with them because our communications are down.
You could communicate with them, but doing so would give away their position. What was your total?
14.
14.
14. So you got at least a degree of success. You get at least one of the mechs is a assassin, which is somewhat popular. Free Worlds League, Capellan Confederation
Merrick.
design. Yeah, the Merricks. It's also well known as being a sort of pirate raider mech that's good at literally like grabbing cargo and going.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
The main power of the assassin that's fast and pretty much can just laughs in heat.
Yes.
It just doesn't have any problem with heat whatsoever.
That's also good at jumping. So like it's primary.
Oh, that's what it is. It can jump without heat.
It's a recon mech
Forget
that's
me.
really good at getting in, like literally grabbing something and getting out.
Yeah.
Is there any reasonable way I can respond to this that doesn't violate the ceasefire?
Yes. I mean, responding to this would not be a violation of the ceasefire. Dealing with a third party of unknown combatants, right? But the only forces you have on hand would be the Hatchet Man, or sorry, the Atlas and the Dragoon. And revealing that they were on the scene would be a violation because bringing them back is a violation of the ceasefire.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
it's
like
complicated.
Got it.
Can
We're on the way, and like there's a potential
So
of us
bringing the
intercepting them.
Dragoon and the Atlas back is a violation of the ceasefire,
Right.
and you guys are
Right.
the only ones close enough to respond.
Right.
Can Lachlan
Right.
communicate with the Lance?
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess that's the first thing he'll do is he'll say, unidentified Lance, this is, what's my current title? Commander, right?
Baron.
Oh, I thought that he had a military thing because of what Sir.
No. So
Okay.
the nobility has some untold influence over the military, right? Like, there's no way a private is going to refuse an order from a baron. But you know,
Well, I would think it's sorry. I'm interrupting for no fucking reason other than to be pedantic. Continue.
but it's never clear, right? Like how much the military gives and takes with the nobility. The military doesn't like it when the nobility interferes, of course, in military operations. And the commanding officer has the ability to, you know, cut the nobility out of. Eric is saying imagine Napoleonics, and that's very correct.
Yeah. So, but to be clear, what Erwin did was put Lachlan in charge of the noble forces,
Correct.
Not in charge of anything military. Okay, that makes no sense. Yeah, so he'll just say, this is Baron Lachlan McDougal. Identify yourself. You're in violation of, and then, you know, he'll list like some, you know, protocol 91687.
Oh yeah, from
of
Comstar, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what you get is someone whose mic is too close to their mouth, crunching on a cigar. You get that,
yeah.
and then you hear like a
Fucking headsets.
before the communication shuts off.
Okay, so they're probably.
This guy's a StarCraft NPC.
Yeah, exactly.
I only had that thought immediately.
Seems like
It's
mercenaries.
a fucking marine.
Shoot, man, I don't know what to do here because
It's
I can't
complicated.
communicate with them without giving away their position. We have no way to respond without also violating the ceasefire.
Several moments later, you receive a communication from Commanding Officer Draconis Combine Mustard Soldiery Harutaka Moritomo.
Okay, I will look at the message.
I mean, it's a live video call.
Oh yeah, I'll answer it, and I will say,
She glares at you from across the screen.
Lachlan has his usual composed, grin on his face.
But a little bit more haggard because you've been like
Yeah, because he's got a broken nose and he hasn't slept well in 2 days. And he will say, my lady, I wasn't expecting to hear from you for another few days.
Okay, so she is wearing something paramilitary, like a dress that was made specifically to look somewhat militant, and it has like a star on each shoulder on like epaulets, but it's clearly not a military uniform. She glares at you and says, "You don't look very well. That fills me with pleasure."
Lachlan just stays silent and waits to see what else she has to say.
We are detecting bandit forces engaging the Hirokan Highlands and the Hirokan Estate.
I've noticed the same.
My people will be sending a force over to subdue them with your permission, given the ceasefire.
Oh man, this is getting hairy with them coming back at the same time. Oh man.
Whatever our differences in this war, I will not allow criminals to rape the wealth of this planet under the guise of our differences.
Lachlan will nod, and will. So, do I know where this lance is in comparison with where
they are at the estate? The pirate lance is at the estate, and your people are about halfway home.
Okay.
So, like half a day's
Dude, don't tell me they're there. Don't tell me they're there. If you tell me they're there, I'm turning around and killing them. Don't tell me they're there.
No. He's not communicating with. He's not communicating with you.
I know.
Because that would reveal your location.
Sam,
and then...
I play with you enough. I can see the wheels turning. I'm just letting you know, dude. Like as an option, I really feel like I'm gonna probably ruin. I would be happy to ruin plans. I'm not saying this is what my character would do. Like I'm not like Nuremberging it here. Like I would totally not if it's a problem. But I feel like I would want to do that and stir it up and ruin your day. So,
yeah, okay. I think I know what Lachlan has
okay.
to do. He has only one option here because she knows where his forces are supposed to be in this ceasefire. And she knows that unless he is violating the ceasefire, he cannot respond to this. So he has no choice but to say, my lady, your benevolence in this matter does you credit. Despite our differences, I agree. The Hirokan Heartlands should not suffer as a result of banditry because of this conflict. I will let my forces know what will be going on and make sure that everyone is clear that this is not in violation of the ceasefire. I wish your Mechwarriors the best of luck in taking care of these felons.
I'll be seeing you real soon. And she cuts the comms.
Yeah.
And now the two of you arrive at the table.
I was thinking I was going to have to make some kind of like lying roll or something to blatantly lie about the fact that we didn't have forces there.
No,
so
she
I'm
wants
glad.
to be there.
Yeah. She probably knows about
What
the
happens
Dragoon
is,
as well.
Jasper, you walk into the command tent and you're watching spotty sensor data. It's like scrub data, right? Like the Draconis Combine is sending you telemetry of what's happening in something not like 5-minute delayed, right? So they can't get stream sniped. Of like 4 dragons rolling into the Hirokan Heartlands and just annihilating local like medium and light mech forces, with being led by some sort of amalgamation Franken-mech with 2 AC-10 arms, and like the 4 of them are not working together, and the 4 dragon pilots are just like concentrating fire and using their massive turret arms to like beat somebody to death. Like literally one of the pilots is like trying to climb out and they just get stepped on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dragons
wow.
are such an intimidating looking mech.
You very clearly see, Jasper, that this is the Hirokan Heartlands.
I know.
Like you can see your mansion in the background as the guy gets stepped on.
I can't look at the broadcast, dude. It's killing me.
Yeah.
I
I
have
feel
to
like
do something about this. You know what I mean? I have to do something about it.
Lachlan will look to Jasper and say, I recognize that this is not what any of us want right now, but I didn't want us to be in violation of the ceasefire. I felt it was too important that we get our people back, Jana von Hohenheim included.
It was wise. I think you made the right decision.
If they don't clear out from the Heartlands once they take care of this business, we will respond in kind, as they will then be in violation of the ceasefire.
It also seems that we were fortuitous in moving those our assets, as those bandits were perhaps after something.
seems like it would be a hell of a coincidence if they were there on accident.
I agree.
I think then maybe Lachlan will
I'm fuming with rage.
Yeah, so maybe like Lachlan will try
You
to
can see
call
the heat ripples
Jasper's
off of me. I'm that mad. You know what I
He's
mean?
gonna like try to like distract Jasper and be like, Jasper, if you don't mind, there are a couple of reports I could use your help on. You know, I'm not very familiar with these troop movements. It's slightly different than the types of logistics I'm used to. Like he just like puts
Anything. Put anything in front of me is fine. Even fucking paperwork. Yeah.
If I could narratively, AP, I would like to like go to the hangar and like find a secret stash of primary beer.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me a drink though too.
Yeah. And like so I go to like this little secret stash that I know the techs always hide from me. And grab, you know, a nice bottle of like a vintage chilled, because it's like, you know, of course the text like they're not gonna drink warm beer.
It's a secret.
Okay? The label
like
turns blue when it's the right color.
It's a secret like locked like heavy duty fridge that's like built into the floor, so it survived the explosion.
So it's in the mech base, so like
like the liquid nitrogen like comes off the floor like, off the ground. Yeah.
Like what is this this blue spot in our heat sensors? No.
Awesome.
But yeah, and she'll
The half keg of primary beer.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She'll pour some drinks for everyone.
Yeah, I'm really shook up by it. I'm just like trying to do this paperwork, and I know how hard it is, but like I'm not gonna like say it to you all, right? Like no, because like I'm so mad about it, but like it's easy to say that the price of the ceasefire is worth it when it's not like the price isn't fucking staring at you in a holovid screen. You know what I mean? Like it's way easier to just to say like, oh, I mean, it's worth it. But like, this is my house. This is mine. That's mine. That's on fire. So
I think Anka will just try to console you in any way she can.
And really, yeah. Well, really though, the real deep cut though, if you wanted to be intuitive with me, would be that I'm worried about what my daughters will think of me in this moment.
Oh. And
that's really what it is.
I think Ango, I mean, she may not pick up on this, but well, I guess
so like
can I roll something to see?
I'm having a good time as a player. I'm just saying. So when I'm doing this, I'm not actually. This is my character shit. Okay. By the way, I'm not like hungover or anything like that, or I'm not having a bad time. Just my character is like super stressed, right? So I'm just like
that conversation would be hungover.
Yeah. So I'm just like, you know, my character's just like, just rubbing his temples.
I think Anko puts another hand on his shoulder and says, "I understand. It can be difficult to see one's home in distress," and I think she looks to like out kind of towards where her home is in little ashes. It's never easy, but know that
what will be the final price of victory?
Our survival, I hope.
So we can carry on,
rebuild from the ashes.
If we can't protect what's here, what are we fighting for?
Protecting can come in many forms.
That's not protecting. Your house isn't protecting.
I agree, but then we also were not in a situation to defend everything.
Then what are we defending?
What we can. In some battles, you must retreat to live and fight another day.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to cut off the arm to save the body. So I'm asking you, what is the body? What is too important that we're not going to give up? Where is that? Because I'm looking at it and we're giving up everything and protecting nothing.
Jasper, it's the planet as a whole. We can take it all back. What's taken can be taken back unless we lose. Why do you think my first thought wasn't to take back my home at the spaceport? Because I recognize that as long as the spaceport exists, even if they bomb the whole thing to the ground, the land's not going anywhere. But if all of us lose, if the Draconis Combine takes Whittington for good, they will stomp out my family, they'll stomp out yours, and they'll sure as hell stomp out Anko's. And then there'll truly be nothing left.
I think she chuckled.
Nice, ugly truth test.
Yeah. I think she'll like laugh. It's like,
yeah.
What more can they stomp out except killing me? They've already
That's true. You've lost everything.
Yeah.
So like I'm just being a baby.
My home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not forgotten that as far as the entire Draconis Combine is concerned, we're all traitors. All of our families. They still have a blood mark on me. They still see you as being military traitors.
It's just tactically we win our battles, but this war is just not moving.
That's why we need your... Go ahead.
I was gonna say that all comes down to perspective.
I'm looking at the numbers.
We may have lost. We may seem to be losing the war as a whole. But the longer we live, the more we can resist and regroup and find the weakness, the chinks in the armor of our enemy, so that we may precisely end them when we intend to.
All right, you need to make a test to cure me of my melancholy.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. If you want to keep the burning wheel thing up, is Jasper an elf now?
It's Pendragon. He's going Pendragon, but that's fine.
Melancholic.
I mean, what do you think? I have leadership.
You can help.
Call.
And obviously Lachlan's helping you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I just want you to make a roll. I don't know what the obstacle for this is. Is it going to be a fixed obstacle? Is it like a versus test of me being like
it's versus?
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Versus your melancholy. How
pretty strong.
How deep is your emo? I love how we both have the same word in our mind.
I'm one aim away message away from putting on all American rejects. Okay, that's where we're at. All right.
Wow, what a pull. Oh my god. That's like, that's my middle school days right there.
I know, dude. Me too. This isn't negotiation. I think I'm just gonna roll my charisma, which is +3. Okay. So I'm rolling.
I don't know how. I can never remember how help works in this game, but I'm good at lead.
Can you beat a 9?
There isn't a help in this game. We normally just say +1.
Yeah.
All right.
So AP, what do you think? So I'm going against 9, but you think it's leadership that I'm using here, or protocol?
Seems like leadership to me.
I'd say leadership.
Okay. Oof, that's 6. I have a +5, so that's a 7 + 5, 12.
You beat me.
And then a 13 because I'm helping.
13.
So you get me.
And I think there's like another moment where Anko, as you're like in your beer clasping it, I think she like puts her beer down and like has her hands wrapped around yours and just has you look deep into her eyes. We will get through this, Jasper. We will rebuild from the ashes.
You're right.
Right now, we need your head. I need you to look over these strategies and tell me what's crap and what's going to work. Because I have no idea. I can make sure that we have bullets, but I have no idea how these people should be moving out there.
Well, between the three of us, I think we'll figure it out. And I think there's like a montage of us talking about troop movements, coordinating. Anko has a tactics of 5 as well, so I can definitely aid in this.
Lachlan doesn't have tactics.
It's a good thing Lachlan's in charge then.
Yeah,
Perfect.
right.
So
But
aligns
I
exactly
think
with how the military should work.
I think he does have the best leadership, so he's just very good at like making sure everybody. He's a good delegator, AP. He's a good delegator.
Well, and you have 2 like decent tacticians as advisors, so I think that's actually a boon. Assuming that we're your advisors.
I'm the FDR in this World War II scenario. is basically what we're saying.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Didn't you know this isn't a World War II scenario? This is an American Civil War scenario.
Oh gosh,
If
yeah.
you listen to Jock Swift, Amara's Civil War. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, notice a Morris fan. Anko Sabaku.
Wow. Oh my god. Yeah. So,
Is there
question
anything
AP,
else you do before you head to the prisoner exchange?
Question for you, AP. Does this mech bay have the ability to re-armor
No.
the Dragoon at all?
No.
Okay.
You need a real mech bay.
Got it.
You need the
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is
mech
kind of like
bay
a
where you can rebuild a mech.
right. Got it. Okay.
Just because you have a stall and some armor plating is not good enough.
I got
It's
it.
the thing that we just funded and needed to spend
Right.
2 years to build.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was like. That's why when you mentioned that there was the mech bay here, I was like, oh wait, do we have the ability, but just not fully? Anyway, I digress. So I think the Anko would be reattuning with the grasshopper and yeah.
Okay. All right. So before getting in a white flagged hover APC, one of Anko's being borrowed by the military for this exchange, you see your tech Leonora Hedberg parting ways with Sir Lake Reincolt, and the rest of your techs will also be joining you, just as like supplementary aids. Have we ever actually met Jasper's head tech?
Davies?
We have.
Oh, that's right. That's Davies. All right. Well,
Wait.
Davies is definitely here for sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
I
that
thought
he
Davies
can-
was yours for some reason, Jasper. But okay, my bad. It's been so long.
Is he still like your personal mech tech? I guess. He's a lord now. So
Yeah.
okay. I think it's a little below him
What? No, it's not. It's not at all.
for a noble lord to serve as a mech tech. All right.
No.
Maybe not in the House of Haroka.
So the way I see it is like that's still like a premier job. That would be like, is it weird to serve to like a lord as like a marshal or something like that? Or like this is a high seat of
Your
office.
marshal isn't cleaning your armor.
Yes, they are. They're absolutely. They're counting all of those weapons you have. They like the number of soldiers you can bring to bear.
Well,
Like they're doing all the
a
logistics,
page would probably be
administrative.
cleaning those things, not personally
Yeah.
attending to it.
right.
Oh, so I'm sorry. So when I'm thinking of him as being like the strategic like business operations person, like
Yes,
he's
I'm
not
asking
literally
who
in there
physically
fucking
is the
with
lead?
the monkey wrench like
Yes.
in the Atlas. Like he's the dude with the clipboard and the neon like construction vest down there, right?
He's
like,
in charge of your mech bay. I want to know who's in
Yeah.
charge of repairing your mech. Who is your
Oh.
personal tech now? He used to do that, but he's a lord now. And he has a lot going on. He has to maintain Philip's education now that Philip's going to become the knight of his house.
Oh,
you know?
I never invented this guy. Give him a Nordic name though. I want him to have a Nordic name. I don't know why. Hold on. Let me make a quick roll. I don't know why I'm saying
James
he.
Yivesson, my Valheim character.
Oh, I got a 1, so never mind. So he is male. Okay, so yeah, James.
James.
No, I don't want to do James, dude. Do something like Sigmund or like
All right,
something
Sigmund.
like that.
How about Volson?
Volson. I like Volson. Let's do Volson. So
All right.
Volsun.
Maybe this is the
Some-
first time we've seen him. He climbs into the APC kind of quiet, shaggy hair. Looks like he could be a background in a Rammstein video. Yeah, New Year's Day is a celebration, but not for you all because you're stuck in an APC together for 6 hours, making the trip to the capital, to the spaceport. Your encrypted communicator rings about 10 minutes out of the spaceport.
Yeah, Lachlan will anxiously look up and
Got the message.
Yeah, so Cypher just goes, I've left your letter in the study of the madam. The war camp here is looking pretty tight. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
What is generally it sounds like the situation is clear. How are the people there?
I can't speak to much. I'm maintaining my cover as a refugee and have not identified myself to anyone here. The Latours have taken control of the local war camp, although the Menshikov Lord is maintaining sole control over the mech bay and repairs. Things are highly defensive. They aren't maintaining any combat patrols and are keeping their position on lockdown with multiple overlapping fields of fire. The Menshikov estate has a lot of very secure grounds, but that security is mostly against paparazzi, not tanks. When the mechs come, the walls are going to come down.
Excellent report. Thank you.
I think like as Lachlan is like hearing you talk, he'll just be like, "Is Xenia there? Can I talk to her? Is she there?"
Who is this?
I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, like I'm
I
just
feel like you can hear you in the
like,
background of the open communicator.
it's like on the phone.
Give me a moment, Cypher.
Okay.
And I'll just Lachlan. It is perhaps difficult for Cypher to expose themselves fully to everyone there. They are maintaining their cover.
Well, the whole point was I needed to talk to her, Anko. That's the point.
Very well. I'm trying to think of like how this would go down, because I specifically I want to impart to Cypher that they should try to ingratiate themselves with the lady Menshikov.
Okay.
And is there like
it's going to be difficult for someone to do that in the middle of a war without identifying
Right. themselves
themselves as an agent of the House of Seppuku, but it's not impossible. Do you want them to try that?
I was wondering if like Anko would be able to get a safe word or something like that from Lachlan.
I mean, this person could just say, "Hey, I'm with the Seppuku House," right? But doing so means identifying themselves.
Right.
So
and
far,
I
they have
wanted to
not done
limit-
that because you haven't ordered them to do that.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, you could tell him to like just try to make sure he only reveals himself to Xenia.
Right. That's what I was thinking of.
Just makes it a little bit tougher for him.
Well, and also just to put Xenia in a spot. But Cypher, one of the primary objectives is to ensure that we have a line of communication with the Lady Xenia, Lady Menshikov. I would like you to reveal yourself to her, and only her, as clearly as you can, to allow Lachlan, or Lord McDougal, a line to the lady.
Do you want me to make sure this communicator ends up in her possession?
That could be wise. Yes.
All right. I'll find a time to approach her privately. That will be difficult, but not impossible.
I know you can do it, Cypher.
All right, he hangs up.
Good luck. Yeah. Yeah, so 10 minutes out.
Yep. At the end of the conversation marks the cutscene transition. You know, like you somehow arrive perfectly on time. You make that last turn, and you make your way onto the spaceport proper. You have to slow down for a security checkpoint of Bear's privateers, and the privateers send 2 Savannah Masters as an honor escort to escort you out to the spaceport. You could see that at least part of the spaceport has a still on fire dropship that has clearly taken out like a solid circular kilometer radius of area just from like falling from the sky, being destroyed in the process, and impacting. It's been a while since that dropship hit the planet, but it is again still on fire this many days later. There are other dropships that are still being serviced, and it's clear that life on the planet, as you were driving into the capital, is basically like 90% of people here are not affected by this war.
I think there's definitely like an aside that Anko makes. So that's what happened to the dropship. It's a shame. Spaceport looked so different before.
So we've established there are large holo screens around here that display daily news, and Lachlan, for you, there is a large pop-up that is going through the list of civilians who died during the invasion so far. There's one name that like is being read out by a Draconis Combine Voice of the Dragon media announcer, that they aren't sure whether this person, like, they were just found murdered. Tsumare Shoshone.
Fucking knew it.
She was shot 30 times with a small caliber weapon. They're blaming the Federated Sons. They're saying that she was killed by her own people in a shootout.
I think she was probably murdered by Bassett. Yeah. Fuck. I needed her to testify.
AP, what a dick move.
I mean,
she sold you out. She sold out Bassett with literally zero hesitation.
Yeah.
It makes sense that this would happen. It's just that there was no way I could avoid this. Like it couldn't be my first priority to like save this random woman when we're getting invaded. Lachlan is clearly very, very shook up by this news.
Okay. You approach the designated parade area where you park and get out of your vehicle, and someone with a modified lieutenant's uniform approaches you and gives you a salute and says, "Lieutenant Samuel Barrett, Barrett's Privateers, welcome, gentlemen, ladies."
It is good to see you in the flesh. We only heard your beautiful voice before.
So he gives you like almost mocking a courtly bow and says, "Might I escort you to the area for today's festivities? I think New Year's Day is going to bring in a hell of a new year."
After you.
So as he's walking, he continues talking cordially with you and says, "Made any New Year's resolutions? I decided I'd lose another 10 pounds.
Well, yes. I intend to rebuild my home.
Oh, was a shame. I heard what happened to it. I'm sure it was beautiful.
It was.
What about you, Master Hiroka?"
I'm fine.
No resolutions then?
Barrett, not all of us take warfare as cavalierly as you mercenaries.
Well, I suppose that's true. I'm here to get paid, and you're here to... I don't know. Why are you here?
We're here to get our people back. I don't know if you have realized this, but I think you do know this based on the way you reacted at the end of our conflict last time. You seem to care for your people as well as I do. That's what's most important to
He
me.
turns to you and says, "You care for my people. I'll let them know, bless your heart."
I care for all people of Whittington, Barrett. I hope that you will come to understand that one day. Lachlan gives his most like politician-y mocking grin. Like
he gives you his most mercenary commander who will probably end up on the field against you in the near future grin.
yeah.
As you enter the parade area, you have two Mechwarriors behind you. You've captured, not you personally, but the military has captured several infantry and one aerospace pilot that are all being brought to this exchange. You notice Haru Takao Moritomo. She's there in a somewhat informal dress, and I don't mean she's in a dress, I mean she's dressed informally. Sweater, jeans, she's got a clipboard. Standing next to her, however, is someone who's wearing Galahad Stables jumpsuit. Her call sign is Shadow, and the last time she saw you, Lachlan McDougal, she threatened to kill you.
Ah.
Yeah. Lachlan, I think there's like, you know, like we get like the sound of footsteps, and then there's like a half beat of like missed rhythm on one of the steps as he like realizes who's with her, and you know keeps walking. Lachlan is also dressed. Lachlan is also dressed informally, which for him means no jacket, but still has a tie on.
Perhaps more surprising to the two of you are the people waiting on their side of the prisoner exchange. Several infantry who have all sustained some measure of injury. Two aerospace pilots who have given their parole to not participate in any future conflict on this planet for the scope of this activity. What is very clearly Yohei Genji on a hospital stretcher, hooked up to a number of machines, several bandages and a tube in his throat, and a completely uninjured Jana von Hohenheim Spaku.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like we're getting the much better of this deal. Are there like chairs set up or anything?
There's flags set up on each side. There's no chairs in evidence.
Yes. I think there's definitely a moment where Anko steals a glance to both Yohei and to Jana.
Jana makes it absolutely clear that she's not going to make eye contact with you. Yeah. When you enter, she's fuming with hatred.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, Lachlan will just go stand next to his flags and calmly wait for this thing to get started.
Walks towards you and expected you'll walk towards her. She's got a clipboard with the names and paroles of all of the officers on her side who will not be participating in any future conflict.
I'm sure Lachlan has similar paperwork for sure.
Yes. So Jana
stuff that I help you with. Yeah.
Jana is being remitted into your custody with her commando and her commando bodyguard pilot. But both of them have given their oath to not participate through the remainder of this conflict. And in her case, that is for the rest of the Fourth Secession War.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Does that mean like purely as a mech pilot, or does that mean she's
a tank pilot?
Oh, okay, right. But she won't.
House forces are what's listed. So House von Hohenheim will not participate in the Fourth Secession War as part of the paroling. I mean, you can just say you're not going to take her back and then go rescue her at a later date, but she's agreed to this on her end.
Well, what I'm wondering is would that include her helping us in like a political and
this is purely military in nature.
Okay, well, honestly, as far as Lachlan's concerned, she's far more useful as like an economist and a stateswoman, and like all of those aspects anyway.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and just for players' context, because it's been a while since we had any interaction with Jana. She is currently hating Anko. Like, does Anko know the reason why she's hating her?
I don't know. Do you?
Like, as a player, I forgot, but I think it's because she probably knows what happened to the family. like they've probably told, like the Cretans have told her of like this, how the Sapaku family helped in the
That's
invasion.
certainly a possibility.
Okay. So
It could also
that's
just be that things were not great relationship wise even before Kuro died.
that.
And no one came and got her.
I mean, we were trying to,
I know. And
and then the invasion happened.
Yeah.
She has good reason to be pissed off. She's been in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, and more importantly, she's being used as a token to get, people back to Draconis Combine. None of this is a good situation.
Yeah, totally.
Probably not happy with anybody, but she's least happy with Anko. Haru says nothing, but turns over her clipboard for you to review.
Yep. And Lachlan will give over the paperwork. Is everything in order?
Yes.
He'll say, I'm glad we could make this so swift and painless.
She turns to look at Yohei Genji and says, yes, painless. I accept these oaths of parole. Do you need anything else? Any small chat you'd like to make? Perhaps you'd like to surrender yourself and spare the planet the embarrassment of your gruesome death on the battlefield.
Lachlan will grin again and just say, we'll see if it comes to that, but so far I think things are going rather well for me on the battlefield. I still am quite sorry things have come to this, and for the part I've played in the lead up to what's going on here on Whittington today, but we are where we are. We'll see how this all comes out, I suppose.
Okay. She turns to look as she feels, it's like Jurassic Park. There's like a rhythmic thumping noise that is the indicator of like a loader mech coming by to load a dropship, but then it resolves itself. It's a lot more weight than just a loader mech. And nearby, you see the Nightmare doing a military patrol, and it turns its head and torso to look at the proceedings, and you can see the Atlas glowing red eye panels like zooming in on you, and then turn and keep on walking.
And you just see pure greed and avarice in Lachlan's eyes.
I must
he goes
have it.
full dwarf and makes a greed
God.
test.
Why are we burning wheel all day today? I don't understand.
Yeah. I think
This game's supposed to be based on Petrican.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Well, I think
Pendragon's and Burning Wheel too. Like they're all the same shit.
Doesn't Pendragon also have like a greed test for knights when they see like fancy shit?
Sometimes.
Something similar.
Worldly.
question.
Yeah.
Did we get a spec or we got notice that there was this was on the battlefield.
Yes.
This is our first time visually seeing it.
Correct.
With Lachlan and I both having tech empathy, is there anything that we notice about it that we didn't get on that sheet?
I'd like you to make a mech tech roll.
Can I have this? Because I have tech mech.
It's technician roll.
I have
Yeah, I'm not
technician
good at this
mech.
roll.
I have technician mech.
Yeah, make a roll.
All right, so I get a +1 for my tech empathy, so I get a +6 to this.
Okay.
Nice.
You need to hit a 10.
That is 7 + 6 is a 13. I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll this too because we're almost at the end of the session anyway.
Oh, look at this motherfucker right here.
That'll do it. That's an 11 + 6 is a 17.
It is a maximum armored Atlas with 2 AC-20 arms and an array of support weapons meant to destroy infantry and supporting forces.
I love it. I love it.
I think Anko and Lachlan exchange a glance with like eyes quirked, and then there's like me. If Haru has already left, I don't know, like in this moment.
No, she's
Or if
standing
not-
right next to you.
Yeah, I think like they both look back at this like hunk of like with the vibrations and everything. They all look at it, and I think Anko just says, "Impressive."
Okay.
Does she not respond?
She does not. Lachlan, Shadow keeps her eyes locked on you the entire time, trying to kill you by having your head explode.
Yep. I think as like things are ending and like they're leaving with their group, I think Lachlan can't help but say something along the lines of like, "Do take good care of my house while you're here. I'll be back for it rather soon."
There's no like one-liner or snarkiness. She has your house. She doesn't need to stunt on you.
But I don't, so I do need to stunt.
Yes. As you're leaving, Jana is just kind of making sure that Yohei is okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to need to be secured like ambulance style into the back of the APC. At that time, Jasper Hiroka, sir, you receive a communication on your mobile communication device.
Real quick, AP. Since I'm assuming we would have known the status of like the prisoners, do we have like medical staff or something like on deck to make sure this guy doesn't just die on the way?
He's
home?
not going to just die. He's stable, but unconscious.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he was hit with a near miss of a mech grade laser, so he's missing certain parts of his torso.
Oof.
Jasper, you're receiving a communication from a nearby dropship indicating that as long as you're in the area and under ceasefire, would you like to come look at some Battlemechs?
You're
muted.
You're muted.
You're muted, Eric.
I double muted myself. Yeah, this is awesome. I double check with the group and be like, oh, I gotta take this call. Good news, everyone. Looks like we might have a chance to get some new mechs.
That is good news.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Barrett's hover tanks are a little confused when you veer off of the approved path and you start headed towards a large dropship that seems to have recently arrived and is, like ground securing itself. It has its own defensive forces, which basically stop and check Barrett's and just like, no. You wait there, mercenary scum. Yeah, and like it sets off a whole chain of events about like diplomatic security and protocol, but you guys are like, you know what, we could really use a new lance of mechs on our way home. So take 4 experience points. Next week we'll be joined by Pondo the Mad, who will be playing an arms dealer.
And I've got 23 XP worth of sea bills burning a hole in my pocket.
I've only got 12, but hey,
That's still enough for a mech.
Yeah, I had to spend a bunch to try to catch up with y'all because I lost Kuro. So like all the skill points that I had spent,
That is definitely the trade-off between spending on skill points and doing what Eric did with just a hell of a lot of mechs. So like if Jasper dies, most of that continues on.
It's true. But you're more likely to survive with good skill.
As your APC pulls into the dropship, you can see that some sort of what do we call it? They're called sheepdog, right? The underground hacker. You could see that all the screens around the spaceport are playing a message from Sheepdog, but because you've entered the dropship, you don't get it, and we'll have to see that is on the way out. I think as you're going up the dropship bay, Jana just like looks out the front cockpit and goes, "What are we doing?"
I'm not sure.
We have to make a stop before we go back to camp. Something to help with the war effort.
Okay.
I think, like, to be clear, like, we didn't roleplay this, but I think before doing this, like, Lachlan, when they were, like, getting Genji in and, like, getting everyone settled, he would have, tried to at least, hi, how are you? I hope that your imprisonment wasn't too awful kind of small talk.
Yeah.
I think Anko would try to engage with Jana and just say, and something along the lines. Let's
save that for next time.
Okay.
Sure.
We got your XP. what do we got for post-episode talk? How did we do this episode?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
nice to
loved all the RP.
slow down a little bit and with the battles. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I love being able to like play emotional and then also like try to like get you all to help me. I have no problem playing. I have no problem doing that. Like, I think it's really cool, and I think hopefully it draws stuff out of you.
Oh, absolutely. No, I appreciate it, man. Because like you force us in some ways to look inside our own characters and understand them a little bit deeper. So
that's what I hope to do.
Like how they would react in a certain situation. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I mean, one, also good rolls, everyone. We succeeded in I think just about everything. In fact, we succeeded well in most things, which was freaking great.
If only this type of RNG can, if only this RNG can carry with me to all the other games I play.
It helps when we also only roll things we're really good at not super difficult targets, but
that is also helpful. Although you did get like a 17 on a 12.
Yeah, that's true. That was a really good roll.
Yeah.
So for a lot of the things here, it wasn't about how you succeeded. It was about by how much you succeeded. Right. Knowing that something is an atlas and has some armament is not the same as knowing that it is an over armored atlas.
Right.
With no long range weaponry.
Yeah, I mean, now my strategy for fighting that is just going to be Black Knight and Archer, sit back. Black Knight tries to use my SBA to just get through armor criticals while the Archer just rains fucking LRMs on it.
Yep. Grasshopper jumping around, giving it something to shoot at.
We good for next week? I hope so.
That should be good.
We got to get the Pondo in here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
That madman.
He's looking forward to being an antagonist for once.
Yeah.
That madman.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, you can have a list of like 4 or 5 mechs, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna make 12 lights, 10 mediums, 6 heavies, 4 assaults, a set of vehicles. And I was like, okay, do whatever you want, I guess.
Damn.
He's ready. He's gonna be there with a buffet selection for you all, right? A brunch of Battlemechs.
Hey, I'm glad it's Sunday.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that doesn't necessarily know a lot of mechs in the Battletech universe.
Oh, don't worry. Pondo will tell you about each of the Battlemechs.
Well, and the tech empathy. That's one reason why I took the tech empathy.
No. It's like a sommelier opening a bottle of Battlemech for you.
Well, that's one reason why I took the tech empathy is because I wanted to get those lore dumps to kind of learn more about these things. So like that kind of encourages it.
I want to tell you there was a lot of suspicion, but I'm telling you as a game master to players and audience that the people attacking the Heroican Heartlands were not Comstar.
That's fair.
I figured if they were Comstar, they'd be a little bit better armed and armored.
Yeah.
No. Comstar has to operate through like third-party mercenary forces at a time like this. They're keeping their army on the DL.
Yeah, they can't let anyone.
Yeah, they can't accidentally show off those white and golds.
Yeah, risking that you have like a rocket launcher instead of just like a Glock. It's like, you know what I mean? they don't want you to. Very true. They don't want you to know that about the rocket launcher.
But these forces were not sent by Comstar either. Just to be clear.
I mean,
they're not in any way
theories
related.
Out there.
I'm telling you, the theory is wrong.
All right.
Certainly, this is something Comstar would do, but there are more than 4 forces at play during this conflict.
That is fair. But no, I really like that. That was a fun little scare on our part because it's like, oh shit, we just barely missed it. And then the whole like tracking and the whole having to be like, yeah, go take care of the bandits while we're there. Oh my god, that could have gone so poorly.
Yeah, you guys were risking a lot. You were risking a ceasefire and a prisoner exchange for it.
Yep.
Okay, any projects we want to announce, or are we ready to go for today?
Good.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Patreon members. If you're interested in getting episodes a week early or in participating in the Battletech Solaris Nights, which as of today, is now an official show. Patreon.com/APGamingREAL. Plus, today is the Patreon Twitch sub meeting, so if you're a patron or a Twitch sub, you get to hear directly from me for about a half an hour about the future of the show. That's it. Have a good day.